If you're an animal professional, I know you have had those days when your hard-earned expertise just isn't enough to solve the issues that are coming to you from your clients. Maybe it's your bodywork method or your training approach, or maybe it's how you deliver animal care services. And some of the time they were great, but sometimes, and maybe more often than you'd like, you feel like you need something more. Maybe you feel stuck or blocked or kind of disheartened or discouraged because you're just plain tired of not being able to solve those harder cases. Or maybe your results are okay, but deep down you really feel that there's something more that you could be giving to your clients, some more insight or some more understanding that could really make things easier. Now, if you have felt this, you are not alone. I'm Susan Tenney, and after 30 years of working in the business with animal professionals, I can tell you that the feelings that I've just described are actually more common than people like to admit. But I have something to tell you. You are not bad at your work. You're just ready for something deeper and something more. So what's the solution? It is not more hustle. Goodness no, we know that you are working really hard already to serve the clients in your care. You're not lazy. That is not it. And I'm not going to tell you to go out and just do more of what you're already doing. It's not that you're not cut out for this either, because we know and you know in your bones that you belong in this work. What you really need is this additional insight. And that comes from this framework that I'm going to be talking all about. This is an ancient framework, but it absolutely is relevant for the modern animal and people too, actually. This is something that is really going to help your animal clients. And we have seen it again and again from people of all different animal professionals. They say that this gives them that extra key to open up an entire extra world of understanding and solutions and ways to help their clients. It makes your work more satisfying, gives it great meaning, and it also gets you really good results. So are you ready to find out about this? Let's dive in. Here at Elemental Acupressure, we work with the 5-element matrix system, and we're going to be telling you all about that in all of the videos in this playlist. It is going to offer you insight and understanding that you didn't even know was possible, because it's going to show you patterns that have been hiding in plain sight. But before I go and jump into that and start giving you all of those solutions, let's take a look at some of the kind of common complaints that people have when they're working with animals that would lead them to really benefit from this 5-element matrix system. Because I hear these things again and again, and you might not know that all you're missing is this extra insight. So let's kind of look at some of these things. So for example, we hear a lot of our students who come to us, or when we hear them talking, they say, I do everything that I can in my training or body work or animal care, and maybe I just don't know enough, or maybe I am not enough. Boy, that is not true. You are absolutely enough. You're just missing this extra piece. Now, other people will say, some animals respond beautifully to my work, but others, that's a little harder. And so it's less consistent than I'd like. So I learned a system, like a training method or whatever, but there's a lot of places where it just isn't working. And the other kind of thing that we tend to hear is, my approach works fine for kind of your everyday animal, the easy animals as it were, but it doesn't always work for the super sensitive animals. And I want to help them, but it's really hard. They don't always even let me touch them or work with them or do everyday things with them. And I want to be their helper. Other people are saying that they want to go deeper with their clients, and that means that they want to have deeper levels of understanding. They want to really be able to, like, not just work on the surface, but really go and see what patterns are driving all of the symptoms and behaviors and issues that those animals are dealing with day to day. They want that root cause that is kind of underlying the everyday approaches that so many kind of get stuck in. So if these are questions or complaints that you've been dealing with, just to know that you are not the problem. You're just lacking this extra system, this extra insight that we can open for you when we dive into the 5-element matrix system. And you'll be able to see these patterns, and it's this complete blend of different patterns that show up again and again in these beautiful nuanced combinations, each animal being a total individual. And it will allow you to be able to address health and behavior, learning style and performance style, as well as even kind of relationship styles, or the way that animals connect with one another and with you. So when you have this understanding, everything shifts. It becomes easier, it becomes clearer, because you see the big picture and how everything is interrelated. You don't have kind of separate symptoms that are here or there. Everything becomes one big coherent pattern. And when you have that at your fingertips, everything gets easier. There is so much that I can share with you about the 5-element matrix system, and I'm going to be doing that in all the videos in this playlist, and I can't wait to get into all the details. But I wanted to first give you kind of an overview of how you can use it in different professions, because I think that will give you that insight that you need to understand how it could apply to you. Because, for example, if you're a body worker and you hear that we have this elemental acupressure system that works with this 5-element matrix, it kind of makes sense, because you're thinking, oh, acupressure is a form of body work, so I can just add that technique to my list of tools in my tool bag. That makes sense. And yes, absolutely. If you are doing any kind of body work, it really doesn't matter what kind, you can always insert some of the acupressure that we do here at Elemental Acupressure. And with the insight that you get from the 5-element matrix, it gives you a real new way to kind of guide your point selection, how to work with certain parts of the body. It gives you understanding about why certain techniques are working and why other ones might not be working so well. And it really gives you a much more holistic or comprehensive view of how to use body work to help the animals in your care. Terrific. But I think what is surprising is that we can also use it in so many other animal professions. So let's just take a look at a couple. For example, if you are a trainer, absolutely you need this 5-element system as well. So you might think, well, I don't need to be doing acupressure, and maybe you don't. But what you do need is the insight that comes from the 5-element matrix. When you are dealing with an animal that is, going through your training program, whether you're doing a one-on-one sort of thing, whether you're teaching an entire group of puppies, really doesn't matter. You need to understand how to create the right learning experience for the animals that you're working with. And what we know is, even if your method is fantastic, those methods have to be adapted toward each animal, just in small little tweaking ways, so that each animal kind of can learn in their way. That way, instead of trying to fit them into your system, you are adapting your system to work for them. That makes a stress-free, low resistance kind of environment, and the animals learn faster, the clients are super happy with you, and of course it's much more pleasurable for you as well, because you see those animals just progressing super, super well. The other thing that we have heard again and again from trainers is that if you know how to use the 5-element matrix system, you can either do body work or either just kind of use lifestyle changes about how to create the environment in which you are doing your training that create a sense of calm and peaceful readiness or kind of openness and receptivity to what you're trying to train. Animals who are kind of shut down and not responsive to you don't learn well. If you're able to use this system to understand how to speak to that animal's body, get them into that calm and happy, receptive state, your training is going to be much more successful. But again, that's not it. We also will see that there are all of these service professions that will also benefit from the 5-element system, because when you understand the animal you're giving the care to, your life gets easier, the animal feels understood, and the client feels that you really get their animal, because you do. Maybe you're doing, grooming dogs, and some dogs could be very sensitive and difficult to handle. They might be aggressive, they might be fearful, and you would know the points to do, the acupressure points to do that would be exactly right for that client. Maybe you're in a rescue situation and you know that when the animal is calmer and happier and not looking kind of stressed and traumatized, they're going to get adopted faster. So that's good for everybody. And we also know that just general kind of dog walkers and pet sitters, when they are able to help the animals in their care, going through their everyday lives through insight as well as maybe some body work, you know that you have the skills that will make your job easier and those clients happier. So with all of these different kinds of approaches, all these different animal professions, it's surprising how what might be seen as just, oh, I'm just going to do some point work, I'm just going to poke some points and create relaxation, goes a whole other level to understanding the whole animal. This is a deep level, core level understanding that really allows you to serve your clients and those animals in a whole new way. So if you are working harder than ever and not seeing the results that you think are possible, or maybe you're doubting your skills or even your readiness to work in these fields with animals, maybe you're yearning for that deeper insight with your clients, you are in the right place. We have so many good materials and resources that are coming for you in the videos in this playlist. So stick around, because you're going to hear all sorts of ways that we can apply the 5-element matrix systems in ways that make your life easier and make your business more successful. And who doesn't want that? Certainly the animals want it, and I know that your business wants that too. So you are going to be able to work smarter, not harder. So join me for the next videos and I'll walk you through all of the patterns, how we apply them, and how you can learn more about the programs that we offer here at Elemental Acupressure. But before you go on to that next video, just drop a comment below and tell me, what are your biggest challenges in your animal profession? I'd be super curious if we can see ways to solve those issues with the 5-element matrix system.